Hello, Jasper. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? A bit
Fantastic.
tired, but,
a bit tired. I can imagine touring and stuff like that. But we finally get to have our romantic dinner at last.
Looks great. Yeah.
But looks good. Waiting on the food.
Very cozy.
Very cozy. Our romantic dinner, candlelit dinner, as you can see.
Very candlelit.
Very candlelit. But actually, there's a little bit of trivia. The last time I did an interview at this place inside, I've only done 3 in my long career, but I've only done 3, and the last one I did with someone inside was with Jaco Gardner.
Oh, really?
Really?
That's
so
a big coincidence.
It's a big coincidence because you played with him. How long did you play with him for?
I think 3 years.
3 years. Since when to when?
2013 or 14 we started, I think.
Oh, so did you come here with him?
Yeah. I played there at Musicbox.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you played at Musicbox because I spoke to Jaco like over there or something, I think. But so you played that show. Okay, so I was speaking with Jaco on on that date. I mean,
And now it's my turn.
and now it's your turn. See, so the world is cyclical and is actually a spiral time. I think it's not a circle. It's like it moves, right? It's more like a spiral. So now you're with Altın Gün, and I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, but you got this together, right? This is the band.
Yeah, I was the first member of the band.
So you announced, I heard that you announced on Facebook and people joined in, right?
Yeah, that's how we found the Turkish members of the band, because I didn't know any Turkish musicians. So Facebook helped us out there. Yeah, that was nice.
For once, no.
Well, it's very convenient for lots of things. There's also a lot of issues, of course. But
we don't mean to shit on Facebook, but who doesn't? But it's true. But whatever it is, I don't know. I don't even know anymore. But you already had a passion for Turkish music, right? This kind of psych wave of.
Well, I collect music from all over the world, basically. Also from Brazil or Africa or Asia. Bollywood music I'm really into. But Turkish is one of the things that I collect now. And also when I visited Istanbul with Jaco Gardner, that was the first time that I really went digging for obscure Turkish music, and I found a lot of cool stuff then. So after a while, my Turkish collection started expanding, and then I thought, why not play this music live? Because I thought no one's really doing that, or at least not in the Netherlands. Later I found out that also in Turkey, no one is playing that music in that way, kind of like in the 70s. Psychedelic folk rock style, basically.
How'd you find? Did you find out about it in a particular way? Like, because for instance, I associate this mostly. For instance, I was one of the people as a European, that doesn't know Turkish psych or rock from the 60s or 70s. I found out about it when I think most people did, which was when Guess Who booked Selda. Bachan.
Yeah, I found out a little bit before that because
you were already into it, really.
Well, not that much, but I had bought that record by Selda in a record shop in Amsterdam, like the reissue by Finders Keepers. And I think for a lot of people that was actually the introduction to Turkish psychedelic music, because it was kind of a cult hit, like a lot of cool musicians were raving about it, and Dr. Dre sampled it or something, stuff like that. So I think that's kind of where it started for a lot of people.
And Most Def as well. Most Def did.
Probably, yeah. A lot of hip hop artists actually sampled some Turkish psych breaks or stuff. Yeah.
Actually, I found out about this. I not through Guess Who, but from someone I was interviewing at the time, Meryl from Tune Yards. Okay. Tune Yards, yeah, and Meryl told me, oh, because this is all based on, this is a beat that's from Selda, Bachan, and that Mos Def samples. He explained the whole thing and spoke about Guess Who and stuff like that. So I didn't find out about this via the festival, but because of someone who mentioned the festival and the context and all of those things. Because kind of Guess Who and Primavera, I guess, Primavera Sound also, they sometimes have this curatorship of bringing musicians from like 40 years ago or something and bringing them, which is really useful and culturally relevant
to life.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. If they're like moribund or like in terms of popularity, but back to life in the metaphorical sense, obviously. Oh, well, not literal for sure, because they have zombie powers. In terms of knowledge of the lyrics, do you pay any attention? Have you translated them?
Not really. No, for me, music is a universal language.
So you don't really.
I also kind of like it to play in a band with lyrics that I can't understand, because you can really focus on the music and I feel something, but it's not from the lyrics. You know, it's just there's emotion and it moves me. You know, like, but.
So you're not really concerned with whatever they say, because I guess some songs.
I trust the Turkish people in our band.
Sure. But a lot of it, I went through Google Translate and I figured that like a lot of them had flowers and plants, like clovers.
I know there's one song, Çiçekler Ekliyor, and that's Çiçekler, that means flowers, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really? So it literally means flowers, because obviously Google Translate isn't going to get things 100% correctly. So
especially with Turkish, because those lyrics are very poetic. Mm-hmm. Like it's all traditionals and standards that we play. We don't write them ourselves.
You have like on record, you have like at least one song. There's one song. There's Chauffeur Bay, I think.
Yeah, that's more like an improvisation kind of like it's not really a song.
So you don't even count.
It's like more like a studio jam that we put on the album.
Okay, cool. But basically, so these songs, I guess, like I'm basing this on like not traditional, but I mean at least songs from back then in Portugal, for instance, because of the dictatorship. A lot of them spoke of things that were like in code. So like flowers would mean something else, you know, and would mean like, for instance, blood of revolution or something. It's just a little loose metaphor. Here I'm not giving you any specific example, but like for instance, I would see like, so there's lots of like clovers, vines, roses, leaves in general, and you just mentioned flowers. So I guess like some stuff is just literal. I don't know, because I'm asking. I guess I'm asking the wrong person.
All these songs are basically about love or death or existential questions. It's all very deep and poetic. And so I think those flowers are like a metaphor for some stuff probably, but the songs that we play don't really have a political meaning. Most of the songs are, I think, from the 60s, or some of them are even much older and people don't even know who wrote them, you know, like really like folk standards and traditionals.
I have something to say which isn't necessarily fun, but it's just like for instance I noticed two weird things in Google Translate, and I don't mean this in any bad taste, but for instance there's in the song in Kolbastu there's Oy Bulanchak Bulančak. Okay, so this Oi Bulančak, which means vote Bulančak. Bulančak is like a city, I think, or a region or something. So it's a vote for the. I don't know. I'm just telling you. So I guess this is just weird from Google Translate. Google Translate section of the interview was like, okay, so and there's the song that I think is awesome. There's Kaymakanun Kuzlaru, right? Yeah. I'm trying to pronounce this in the best way possible.
I don't speak Turkish,
of course,
so I'm not much better than you, but Kaymakamın Kızları, I think.
Okay, there you go. Because I'm certainly not versed in Turkish, so I'm just trying. I know that the I thing is like ü, but now that song, the translation is the daughters of the prefect. Many are the Nazis.
Nazis?
Many are the. Yeah, I know, but it's a traditional song, so it was probably before that time. It's not a cool topic in any way. I'm just saying that that's what it says. It's weird.
That's very weird.
Very weird. That's very weird. You guys have a really tight rhythm section of which you are part of. You're welcome. The whole band sounds awesome. It's just like very tight and just really tight. Everything sounds really good, like every individual thing. And then when you play, like for instance, the bass and drums, I think are really tight, and that's awesome. They sound really good. But there's like on these old songs that you go fetch, are there like any odd time signatures or? For instance, this song, Kaymakanun, is in 12. It's really 6, really. Okay.
Yeah, 6, 8.
You can divide it any way you want, but like it's 6, right?
We also have a 7, 8 on the
You have a 7. Okay, yeah. I didn't remember. I didn't write it down, so I can't say the name of the songs. But shall I have a 7? Okay, cool. So, but how far in terms of complexity does it go? Right, in the start of the music.
Far. We don't switch time signatures all the time or something, or double. I don't know. I'm really like I can't read notes or things like that. Some of the band members, they studied music, but I didn't.
Sure.
So
you don't have to though. Like this
usually I don't even know what I'm playing. I just follow my gut.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay. That seems to be okay. It seems to be right. There you go. But I haven't studied music. I play as well, and I don't have a knowledge of, especially reading music, but I know some theory and modes and stuff like that. So, and I think it's really useful, especially even for listening. So you'll know some stuff. You don't have to. It comes from playing, really. You don't have to like study or especially read music. That's like even I think only classical musicians really only people who want to play in orchestras, I would say.
That's why they invented it, I guess.
Yes, exactly. That's precisely it. Like so they can
because you couldn't record it.
Yeah, exactly. So if you
had to write it down.
Yeah. So you have to. So for instance, in your case, if you can memorize it, then right. So you don't have to go around. You're already gifted with the ability to record. When I mentioned Selda before, it basically comes up now all the time, right? So, because do you think there's like, is it a thing in like in Amsterdam or in Holland or the Netherlands? Like, is there? Have you guys stirred up this sort of struck a chord? Do you think like if people enjoying this and is it getting like kind of popular or not?
Turkish.
It's weird to say. It's a weird question, I guess.
In general.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a thing, if it gets featured, talked about, if people think it's cool.
I guess so. Yeah, but not because of us. I think.
Okay. No, I mean, sure.
I think it's like in general there's a lot of interest in exotic music in Europe and also in the United States because for a long time when like 20 years ago you didn't have all those vinyl reissues and you didn't have all that music on Spotify and YouTube, and like for the first time that music is widely available to the whole world, because in the 70s it was only released in the country where it was recorded basically.
Basically. Yeah.
With some exceptions of course, but usually it's the same for Brazilian music, or like maybe it's different here, but
no, it's exactly the same.
In the Netherlands, Brazilian music is like it's getting more and more popular.
Oh, it's extremely popular.
But it's also because it's available for the first time.
Plus,
I don't think it's a hype or something. It's just like we were very used to listening just to French and American and English music in the Netherlands for decades,
Sure.
And now because of the internet and
I guess it's natural. I didn't mean this. I really don't care about hypes. I don't care. I don't care if it's popular, as long as it's good and if it's. But it's like it's. What I mean is that it's good that it's getting around. Like you guys are playing like big festivals and stuff like that.
That's very cool.
That's
I think. Cool. I think also a lot of people their tastes become more eclectic these days because it's. So everything is available to everyone. So people just start experimenting. What
exposure is really
clicking on YouTube and Spotify and just
and being exposed to things that finally get around. The show is called Made of Things, and it's based on the idea that you dedicate yourself to your art because something happened to you, or you heard something, or you read something that made you go like, oh, I want to play music forever, for instance, in your case. Did you have that? And if so, what was it?
That moment that you realized this is what I want to do. Yeah, I had it when I think I was 13 or something. And I went to London with my mom, and we went to see this musical called The Buddy Holly Story, about Buddy Holly, obviously.
It's about Chubby Checker.
And I was very impressed by that, and then I started playing guitar and started playing 50s covers and 60s covers, and I got really into the Beatles, and from there on just like my taste became more and more obscure, and, but that's where it started basically for me, like wanting to play music for a living.
That's super cool, and not a usual answer at all. It's like a very personal answer. It's like it's very something that clearly just happened to you, because
also a very it was that moment. I can still remember.
Absolutely. I can totally get it, because some people do and some people don't. So it's that's super cool. That's awesome. Name 3 things that you're made of. It can be anything.
That you're made of?
Yes, you in particular.
That's a tricky question.
Yes, it's true. Not to put you on the spot, but there you go. You can name 3 things.
What do people usually answer? Like,
we get a lot of blood, water as well. Yes, true. We get a lot of blood, water.
I didn't want to go there because it's
also a lot of food. Also a lot of food. Like food, stars, or matter. Some people go the matter way. We've only been doing this question for like 6 months, so we don't still have a huge analysis, but we've been getting some blood and water, like a lot. not a lot. Sometimes. Those are, I guess, the two ones that have been
Blood, water, and bone.
I'm sorry, what?
Blood, water, and bone, I guess.
Blood, water, and bone. Okay. Okay. What about Altın Gün? Would you say that thing?
What Altın Gün is made of?
Yeah. Altın Gün. Yes, which is day and or days and gold. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of chemistry, of course. You know, like the people together and their backgrounds. You know, everyone has a different background. So
chemistry.
Yeah, chemistry, backgrounds, and passion.
Passion. Awesome. Sounds good. Cool. See, you did well.
That was easy. Yeah. But that's easier than talking about yourself.
True. That's a lot of the show is that. Yeah, like this. Thanks so much, dude.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks so much. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Till next time. Have a great night.